All right, I think we're recording. Hi, everybody. This is Jacob Tucker here, and I'm with the Decentology team here to show you a little bit about the Hyperverse. So what I'm showing on my screen right now is github.com/decentology/hyperverse mono. And what this is a GitHub repository that contains pretty much everything you're going to need to start developing on the Hyperverse. So just put simply, there's a packages directory which contains all of the modules that you're going to be, that you could use in your, decentralized applications. And then there's this apps folder, which has a bunch of different example applications that we've built for you using modules on the Hyperverse. And so today, I'm going to be showing you one of those apps on the Ethereum blockchain called, ERC721. So it's basically an implementation of the ERC721 example on Ethereum, which is basically like NFTs. So you can transfer NFTs, you can mint NFTs, you can get the, how many NFTs a user has, all that kind of fun stuff. So to actually start out this demo, let's go ahead and clone this repository. So I'm going to click that button right there, go to my terminal and do git clone and then space copy and paste the Hyperverse mono like so. So I can cd into it. And then the first step to do is to type yarn. So when you type yarn, it's going to install all the dependencies you're going to need for your Hyperverse mono project. And this may take a little bit of time, but while this is going on, I'm going to sort of talk through some of the, some of the areas where you can go and get help or ask questions or learn more about, the Hyperverse. So this is docs.hyperverse.dev. And if you go to docs.hyperverse.dev, it'll bring you to this page right here saying, welcome to the Hyperverse. It gives you a brief introduction to what the Hyperverse is, if you're still wondering, and some also quick start for both JavaScript and smart contract developers. So, if you're watching this video, presumably you're most likely a JavaScript developer that's curious in actually, how to set up your, decentralized application using modules that are already in the Hyperverse so that you don't have to write any smart contract code whatsoever. You're entirely writing JavaScript or, React, HTML, CSS. There's no blockchain related at all. And I'll show you in the code how there's actually no blockchain code related. So you don't have to worry about that at all. And if you actually, you can get a brief introduction to the Hyperverse, just scrolling through here. There's a nice little fun video. I love these little icons and, all this cool stuff. And, at the end of the video, I'll show you, some of the other stuff we can explore here. So seems like we're almost done here. On my college Wi-Fi, yarn is always an interesting battle. But here we are. So now we installed Hyperverse mono. So what we can do to actually go and run a sample application is cd into apps/ethereum/ERC721. So let me just go ahead and clear this. And the next step is just to type yarn dev. So when we yarned earlier, it installed all the dependencies that we needed for the whole project. And now when I type yarn dev, it's going to load up the Next.js project, which is going to be really easy for us to start interacting with the Hyperverse. So let's open up a new tab here and go to localhost/3000, and boom! So this is a nice little application that I that we made for you. I'm start interacting with the ERC721 example. So the first step, as always, is to connect your wallet. So when you go up here, it's not going to let you do any of these actions unless you connect your wallet, which makes sense, right? So if you go ahead and connect your wallet, you can click on MetaMask here. Now I think it was just loading, so that's why I didn't show the images. But so when I go and click Connect Wallet, boom, here we are, right? So now it shows you all of the different actions that you can do to start interacting with this module. So just take a step back and explain the Hyperverse a little bit. The Hyperverse allows you to set up your own quote-unquote tenant, which has its own data associated with it. So this application right here is already configured to a certain tenant address that has its own data. And so right at first, I'm going to show you an example of actually interacting with the tenant. And then I'm going to show you how to set up your own tenant so you can have your own data, which is super cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is, so I had already created an instance because I wanted to show you what this will look like when you set it up. And then we're going to actually go back and create our own tenant with our own address. So assuming I already made the tenant here, let's go ahead to these token functions. So when I click on get total supply, you'll see it shows 3. And that's because I had minted 3 NFTs. And if I click get balance, it's 0 because I don't have any NFTs in this account. I had minted them to other people. If I get the balance, you can even get the balance of someone else by typing in their address. You can get the owner of a certain token ID. So let's say, there's 3 tokens in the supply right now. So what if I wanted to type in, who owns token 0? I can click on get owner of, and it's this account right here. So this account owns, the token with ID 0. We can mint an NFT, or we can transfer tokens if we want. So why don't I show you an example of actually minting? Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and create our own tenant, so that then I can show you how to mint and transfer and get the total supply and all this fun stuff. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect my wallet, and I'm going to go to my little MetaMask thing here, and I'm going to let's go to another account. So let's go to I don't know. Let's go to like let's actually create our own account. So we'll call this account demo. So create. Awesome. So I created this account demo, and now I actually have to put some Ethereum in it because I need to, be able to like send transactions on behalf of this account. So I'm assuming that some of you may not have, Ethereum in your wallet. So we can actually do this together. What I like to do is I like to go to the Chainlink faucet for Rinkeby, because it's like the easiest by far. So if you look up Chainlink faucet Rinkeby and click on this link here, you can actually go to the Chainlink, it'll mint you a testnet Rinkeby for you. So just another note, this is all on the Rinkeby testnet network. So I'm going to copy my address, copy in the wallet address here. Oh, let's go to Ethereum Rinkeby. And it says, please connect your wallet. So let me connect my wallet. Let's go ahead and go demo and then click next and connect. All right. So we've connected our wallet. And so right here, it should already have my address in there, right? So 8733, all that cool stuff. I don't need any link. I'm just going to mint myself some test Ethereum. Let's prove that we're not a robot, and let's send a request. So this is going to give me some test Ethereum so that I can just send some basic transactions using the Hyperverse. All right. So this should finish in a few minutes here. But while this is going on, let's go back to our application and see some of the things that we're going to be able to do here. So when I click on this new tenant, what it's going to do is it's going to run a transaction to create my own data, which is really helpful for us. So it's going to create a new tenant for us, and then we can take that and configure our application. It's literally just one line of code that we're going to change to configure our application to work with my data. So look, the transaction went through. If we go back to our application, I'm just going to refresh the page just to make sure, you always want to be sure that, you're doing things the right way. And so if I actually go to my account here, let me click connect, and you see I have 0.1 ETH in my account now. So woohoo! And now if I go to connect wallet, let me click on MetaMask here. And now I am logged in through this account, right? So this is all fine and dandy. Now what I'm going to do is, you'll notice that I'm still connected to the old tenant here, right? I still have all the old data here. But let's go ahead and let's create our own. So let's click on create instance, and we can even create our own token. So my token name, I'm going to name it Jacob because this is the best of all time. Or I can name it Jacob. And the token symbol, we'll name it JCB, which is short for Jacob. And if you click on create instance, it's going to load up this little prompt here. We can scroll down and just click on confirm. So what this is going to do is we can actually view this on a block explorer. Let's go ahead and see it says it's pending. So let's click on this and go to view on block explorer so that we know that this is actually going through. And I know this is very, this might seem a little intimidating because this has some like blockchain related concepts in it, but we're not writing any blockchain code, and all of this is sort of done for us. So it is really nice to be able to interact with it. And so once this goes through, this will set up our own data in the smart contract so that we can, allow users to interact with our own data that is unique to other tenants. So it'll set the total supply back to 0. It'll set all the balances back to 0, all that kind of stuff, because this is our own data. And so hopefully, I don't know how long this usually takes to go through. It should be like a minute or two, which shouldn't be too bad. So we can go ahead and wait for this to execute. Oh, and while we do this, actually, I'm glad I just realized this. So what we can actually do is open this up in VS Code. So if I do code space dot, this will open up in our code in VS Code. And what we can do is we can go to pages and go to _app.tsx. And so if we go into this file, you'll notice that there's a bunch of stuff here, right? There's some styling. We import the Ethereum blockchain from the Hyperverse. We import the ERC721 module from the Hyperverse, which is where we're getting all of our data from, which is where we're getting the module from to mint NFTs and all that. And then all we do to set this up in our application is these lines of code right here. This is literally all we do. And then we pass the Hyperverse into the provider's initial state right here. But this is the extent to which you have to do to hook up your application to the Hyperverse. So you say the blockchain is Ethereum, and remember, we import Ethereum from the Hyperverse. The network is testnet, and the modules we're using, in this example, we're using ERC721. And then you'll notice there's a tenant ID here. So this is whose data we're actually interacting with. So if we go back, now, oh, look, it says success now. So we've set up our own tenant. So what we can do is we can go to the Hyperverse again, or we can go to this example DApp, go to our MetaMask, and we can copy our address and paste it into this tenant ID here. And if we save this, what this is going to do is completely configure this whole application to have our own data now. So if I go and click on total supply, you'll see now it says 0, right? Because it's set back to 0. This is our own data. If we click on get balance, of course it's 0. There's no NFTs that exist, right? Which is super cool. All right, so now if I go to mint an NFT, what I can do is click on this mint button right here. And let's actually just use our address. Let's actually just use our address so we can mint an NFT to ourselves, right? Just because we're having some fun here. So if we want to mint an NFT to ourselves, we can put in our address and then click the mint button. And this will bring up a little prompt for us to be able to mint. And we can click on confirm. And so when we click on confirm here, it's going to run a transaction on the blockchain. And what a transaction is it's basically a way of saying, you know what, we want to change some of the data on the blockchain. So go ahead and change it. And so because we minted an NFT, it's going to actually go to the blockchain, create an NFT, and then update all of the balance in our account to say, hey, this person has the NFT now. So that's what a transaction is. And so it's actually going to be running that right now. Let's go ahead and actually view this on the Block Explorer. All right. And while this is going on, one of the important thing that I forgot to mention is that this button right here, this connect button right here that shows your address, you can think of this as the same thing almost as like, logging in with your Google account, right? When you go to and log in through Google, it's like your authentication, right? Your classic authentication experience. The only thing now is that when you log in with your wallet, you're basically saying, hey, this is me. I own this account and this is who I am, right? And so now, the total supply got updated to 1, and the balance in our account got updated to 1 as well. So woohoo, it worked, because that means that we have this balance. And so if we want to, we can even click on get owner of, type in, the ID 0, because it always starts from 0, click on get owner of, and look, that's our account, 873. So that's who we are. So we just minted an NFT to ourselves, right? And if we want to, we can even transfer this token. So let's go ahead and transfer it. So let's go get another account of mine. I don't know, let's get not hacked. So let's copy this address from not hacked, go back to our account, right, the demo account, and let's go and transfer the token to the account that I copied, and we're going to transfer token 0. So let's click on transfer. It should bring up a little prompt here, and we can go ahead and click on confirm and say, hey, this is okay to do. So click on confirm, and now it's all going to go through, and then hopefully it should transfer the NFT. Now, if you're wondering, the reason why it's called not hacked is because for some reason someone figured out my other account. So that one always gets drained. So I just use not hacked because I want to show that it's not hacked. LOL. Okay. So let's go ahead and view this on the Block Explorer to see if it's actually going through. Bada bing, bada boom. We can close out some of these tabs here that we don't need. And this shouldn't take too long. And what we should see is that, look what happened. So the total supply is still 1 because, we didn't destroy an NFT, but our balance is 0 now, right? So now our balance went down to 0 because we transferred the NFT away. And so if we were to go to other account, the one that we transferred it to, not hacked, you'll see the balance is 1, right? Because we transferred it to this account. So this is just an explanation of what the ERC721 module is and what the example application is. And if you want to, you can check out some of the code here. If you're interested in building on the Hyperverse, this is how we connect to the Hyperverse. And then you'll notice that let's go to the components. Let's see what's actually running the transactions and the scripts. If we go to, let's say, let's go to, I don't know, let's go to the container here. And you can see that all we're doing is displaying some components, like a read component, right? We're reading data from the blockchain. And all we do is pass in these very simple functions from the use ERC721 module. So you'll see there's no blockchain code at all. We're importing use ERC721 from the module, and we're pulling out the total supply function, the balance function, and we're just calling them right here. So total supply and balance. And if we go to the minting file, you'll see that if we scroll down here a bit, we're using the use ERC721 module to pull out the mint NFT function, right? And use ERC721 is coming from the Hyperverse module, right? Then we get the mint NFT function, and then down below, when we click on the button to mint an NFT, it calls mint an NFT, which is this function right here. And all we do is we call this little mutate function that's coming out of the mint NFT with some of the data that we need. So for example, who are we minting to? We just pass in the receiver, which is an address that we type in on the front end, and then it calls that function and changes the state of the blockchain. So hopefully this is proof to all of you that you can build some really cool applications on the Hyperverse. And if you're curious, I really recommend checking out the docs.hyperverse.dev page, where you can learn a lot more about the Hyperverse and about other applications you can build. We also have a whole tutorial on how to set up the tribes example. If you're curious in making in delving into the tribes example, you can do that just with the Hyperverse mono that I showed you in this video. And if you have any questions, I really recommend going to the Decentology Discord. It's discord.gg/Decentology, and asking away in this Discord, and we will be so happy to help you. So thank you, everybody, and hopefully this was helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.